Jeffrey's in the kitchen cheating on his diet again when the finance book that he's ordered arrives. "I'll just read it later," Jeffrey says. And so he goes back to eating his Cheetos. But there's a problem. There's a problem of such immense magnitude, a terrifying problem. A problem that Jeffrey is totally unprepared for. He eats the last Cheeto. "I know what I must do. This is my purpose. This is my mission." And so Jeffrey's in the store buying some more crisps. But his cheeks are red with embarrassment. "I'm sorry, sir, your card's been declined. Insufficient funds." That hurts like a knife in the gut. The teenager behind Jeffrey whispers, "Brokey, should have just read the book, Jeffrey." Adonis. Adonis is sat outside of his cage, meditating, when the postman arrives and delivers him the book. Adonis smiles. Wisdom. He begins to read the book when suddenly there's commotion, there's screaming, and there's panic. His village is being attacked. With no time to waste, Adonis grabs his spear and he charges straight towards the danger. Whilst all of the members of his tribe are running away, Adonis is running too. But he's doing something odd. He's reading whilst running. And just at that moment, he reads the exact piece of wisdom that he needed. He puts the book down, he aims with his spear and launches it high into the sky. The spear just glistens in the sunlight. It arcs beautifully. And it starts to drop right on track. Adonis's spear impales the pirate. He saved the day. Everyone's wondering how he did this. All he can just think to himself is wisdom with a smile. That we're going to discuss today, The Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. I read this book in 2019 as soon as I graduated from university. I went down the script, the path that everyone had said, go to school, study as hard as possible, get a few part-time jobs and stuff, but focus on your studies, graduate and try and get the best job possible, maybe rent, borrow a car, like get in debt for a car with car finance and, try and impress your peers. And if you suck the boss's dick for long enough, maybe you can level up in this career field. And maybe, just maybe, your promotions will overtake inflation. And maybe, just maybe, you can retire at 63 instead of 65. This was what was sold to us, and this was the path that I was going down. But I got really, really lucky. Because just after I graduated from university, I stumbled upon this book, which is an absolute goldmine, and it is genuinely the reason why I'm here today. It taught me that there are 3 paths to wealth. There is the sidewalk, the slow lane, and the fast lane. And you need to determine which one you want to be in. The sidewalk is kind of like full of the bumbling idiots that you know. Probably kind of like the guys who smoke weed, who drink. They're making pretty much no progress to financial goals. The slow lane is the person who follows the script. The slow lane is the person who's better than the sidewalker. This is the person who reinvests, who saves money, who puts it into their pension. This is the good boy, the person who realized the script 50 years ago and really wanted to do well in that life. This is the person who tells you to go to university, get a good job and suck the boss's dick, and maybe after, you can retire at 62 instead of 65. This is the person who reinvests and all this stuff. But let me just tell you about the fast lane. And I am not the professional in this whatsoever, but I'm just I was a kid. I was a drunk kid who ended up discovering this. And the fast lane is achieved only through business. The fast lane is when you make a business that follows the commandments of sense. 5 principles, which I'll walk you through. The slow lane aims to retire at 60 or 58. The fast lane aims to retire more like 30. I want you just to think of one person who goes in each of these lanes. Who is the sidewalker that you know? I can imagine him right now wearing like branded clothing. He's got, that like the fashionable Gucci brand, or he spends quite a lot of money on that. He's got one of the newest iPhones, but he's late on his bills. Maybe he buys weed, or he buys alcohol, or he buys snacks, stuff that he shouldn't be able to afford. He only does the absolute bare minimum. You can think of who it is, right? Now pick someone for your slow laner. Who is like this person who only goes to the route that the Matrix wants them to go down? The good boy, they're working really hard. And we've got a little bit of respect for these guys. The slow laner is a lot better than the sidewalker is a complete degenerate. Slow laner is like a hard-working guy who's in school right now. And we've got still respect for him. He's got some good character traits. It's just education and exposure that these guys lack. Who is your slow laner? Do you know any fast laners? What comes to mind for me is Andrew Tate, myself, E-Man, MJ DeMarco himself, the author of this book, Ali Abdaal, Andrew Kirby. I know all these young guys who are literally younger than 30, and they're all millionaires. Now that you have like your characters, your people for each three, just ask yourself truly, which person do you want to be more like when it comes to building wealth? So how do you become a fast laner? There's a few principles to the kind of business that you need to build that will make you into a millionaire fast laner. There's 5, and they are sense, control, entry, need, time, and scale. Let me walk you through them. Control is whether or not you have control of the business and also the livelihood of it. If there's something with high control, a business with high control, that means that there's no one entity that can fuck you. If there's a business with low control, that means that there is some kind of entity, company, client who can ruin your life. It was when I read the book, $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi, and it really talks about how you should navigate pricing your products and services so that you make more money, but also that the person who's bought your stuff actually gets better results themselves. And it makes sense. And I want to get more clients. I want to make more money. And so I take my sales page where I'm selling this £90 an hour coaching, and I'm about to go share it on YouTube, and I press send, literally thinking, okay, I'm gonna get hate. And just as I expected, my notifications start blowing up like crazy. I hear my phone ding ding, just start going off. And I'm literally thinking, okay, these guys, like my fans, some subscribers are commenting saying that my thing is a rip-off. And when I actually look at my phone, I realize it's not messages from these 14-year-olds, it's actually messages from Ryan. And he sent me a picture. He sent me a picture of his habit tracker, and below it he said, just checked off every single habit. I did the workout that you recommended. It was really hard, but I got through it and I feel awesome. I also downloaded the meditation app and I did the 5-minute version of the daily meditation like you said, and it feels kind of nice. I understand why you meditate every single day. What's next? I'm looking at his habit tracker with this unexpected feeling of fulfillment. That here is a young man who's actually taken my advice and his life has already improved and he's already on a great track. Imagine this. Imagine that there's like a young man out there who's usually got addictions and problems and pains. And I realized that all this time it was never about the money. It was about the impact that I wanted to have on the men that I wanted to help. It was on that day that I realized that it was actually my duty to charge higher prices so that the people who did want to give me money to level up their self-improvement even more, so that they would get better results, because when someone pays, they pay attention. In this book, he breaks down what exactly to sell, what exactly an offer is, because there's only 2 things you need to know to sell online. It's the offer and traffic. The offer is what you're selling in exchange for money. And traffic is obviously just people going to your site and people who you've paid for advertisements or YouTube videos. It's just people, right? Because it's not the product that someone wants to buy, it's the transformation. It's not that someone wants to buy coaching. They want to buy the weight loss. They want to buy the feeling of fitting into the clothes that gets them socially validated. What I'm trying to say to you is people don't buy your products and services, they buy the transformation. And so we think that they'll want to buy our products, but it's not exactly about the product. It's about what they really wanted. So it's all about packaging up what you're selling as this big offer to the cure of their problems, rather than selling a specific service at once. And there is one final book that has really helped me to make a huge amount of money. The book Deep Work by Cal Newport goes in and it tells you about what a shallow life you can live if you live in a state of distraction, if you're unable to focus. Most people can't focus, most people aren't present, most people are mindless. And so when you speak to them, you know this, whether it's a family member or a friend, some people's brains are just weird, switched off, AFK. And you're trying to speak to them and they're literally on their phone whilst they speak to you, just brain dead. Or you can see that they're thinking about the latest fucking TikTok dance whilst you try and communicate with your girl. Imagine when these kinds of people then go and do work. Their work is gonna be a reflection of this brain dead ADHD, that mind that they have, this monkey brain that's just going chaotic, monkey brain that's got rabies. What I learned from this final book that has really helped me, if you can focus on the task at hand, if you can focus on the person who's speaking to you, you can create amazing success. You see, the success that you want comes down from you being able to be good at what you do. Whether it's, for example, being totally present and loving in a conversation with your lady, or it's to be super focused in a flow state whilst you work. And so all you were focused on, you were in a flow state of just completing the task to the best of your ability. Imagine how much of life you're missing out because of a brain that just won't shut the fuck up. I took this to an extreme level. I learned the principles of being able to focus without distractions. How did I get here from a guy who couldn't even meditate for more than 46 seconds straight? Meditate almost every single day of your life. Doing your meditation inside of your morning routine for me is absolute crucial. The second thing is to destroy these distractions which are seeping away at your focus. You know, my phone has been on silent and do not disturb mode for over 3 years straight. Another thing that I've done, I've went on my phone. If you go onto general notifications, I've went through every single app and turned it off. And also this, a lot of phones have this these days, where if you press the screen lights up, or if there's a notification, the screen lights up. I have to manually press the power button for it to turn on. And there's no emoji, there's no notifications there. I don't get notifications, so that this way my phone is quiet. There's no disruption to my focus. What I'm trying to say is that you must set up this distraction-free lifestyle so that you can focus. You don't want anything else in your peripheral vision. You don't want any sounds to pop up. You don't want to be working and then your phone goes off. To me, that's disrespectful. I'm telling you, you're disrespecting yourself with the way that you live. If your phone is loud, it shows me that you don't have that much respect for yourself. I'm just going to be honest. Maybe you live a completely different life, but if you live a life where, for example, your work is on your computer and you know the importance of focus, you know that a notification sound can pull you away from your work. If your phone is still on loud mode, if your phone's notifications aren't turned off for any limiting belief, it shows me you don't respect yourself that much. So when you first start to implement these practices and you start to detach away from your phone and stay more focused on your work and routinely go hours without checking your phone, this is the difference between you securing that extra 5% of your potential, and that 5% genuinely equals more like making an extra few $100,000 per year.